Здравствуйте. И продолжаем модификацию Утуры. Это Rigmor из Сиродила. Либо с Tamriell. Продолжаем. Спасайтесь печеньками, чайком и вкусняшками там разными. Ставим лайки, дизлайки, подписываемся, пишем комментарии. Продолжаем. Типа скример.
Dragonborn, wake up. It's time to go.
Не хочу. Который
Time to sign the decree. They're waiting for us in the Imperial Chamber.
Это в порядке?
Uh-huh.
А как себя чувствуешь?
To be honest, I feel relieved, but a little nervous, I guess.
Что-то странное?
Dragonborn, what's wrong?
Здесь есть что-то.
Dragonborn.
Наверное, ничего, забудь об этом.
Okay.
Подумала о Бобе.
I was thinking of what you said, and I have decided to accept if he proposes. But what will we do? What's to stop them from coming after us when I dump Bobby? We'll be back to square one.
Да.
But it's only speculation, Dragonborn. Quintus has sworn fealty to the Emperor, and he's in Hammerfell.
Друзья, вот если вот не забывай об этом.
But they have the new Imperial army. That's 6 legions, Dragonborn. Even if you did convince Quintus, that's 5-1 odds. How can we hold out against a siege? Even if Ingol and Cassius could muster 100 men, there's no way out.
Допустим.
Let's cross that bridge when we come to it.
Покончим.
After you, Dragonborn.
Здравствуйте. Броня шикарная. О, какая ляля. 300-летняя.
2 years ago, we rode into the city at the head of
Я
an
еще
army.
вошел.
But this army was not one of occupation. This army was not one of subjugation. No, this was an army of liberation. Liberation of an empire left buckling under the weight of poverty and recession. An empire ravished by pirates and bandits from the lawless border regions. An empire threatened by a dominion, with its sights set on reclaiming this land for the Elven nations. An empire left decadent and abandoned by its predecessor. In this very room, upon this very floor, lay the crowns of this once great seat of civilization. And by legal right of combat, it was the people of this great city that placed them upon our heads. And we flourished. We became great again. We prospered and thrived. The old was replaced with the new. A new dawn, a new era, and with it, the creation of a new imperial army to protect and serve the 6 counties of Sirodiil and the imperial territories. Provinces and colonies once weak, annexed and lost, were once again reclaimed, and the world trembled and knew its place. History is to be made this day, this very moment, as the county of Bruma returns to the fold. And we shall stand united as we become once again the 7 counties of Sirodiil, to show the world our strength, our unity, and our fortitude in our wholeness. And they shall come to know of our intention to strengthen our resolve. And they shall come to know of our intention to be a global force to be reckoned with. And they shall come to know of our intention to expand our empire, as is our divine right. United under the name of the most powerful dynasty in all of Tamriell.
Countess Rigmor of Bruma, you have graced us with your presence here today to sign the noble decree. And with it, you will inherit what was set out in the White Gold Agreement, including full access to trade, a personal Imperial Legion loyal only to you, and a place at the seat of
Вынь
representation.
изо рта и скажи погромче.
By signing the decree, you forfeit your status of a free city, and by doing so revoke the corrupt, weak, and unelected international wars, and legitimize your emperor's claim to the titles of the Mede dynasty. Do you wish to say anything before you sign?
Only that I would like to thank the Emperor for this opportunity, and thank all the noble houses for their openness and kindness since I arrived, and that you all can be assured of the House of Bruma's loyalty and support.
Lord Chancellor, please proceed.
Approach the table and sign, my lady. The houses of Sirodiil are united. Long live the Emperor.
Could I please have everyone's attention? I have an important announcement to make. As many of you might know, Countess Rigmor and I have been acquainted this past year. I cannot think of any better occasion to tell her of my undying love for her, and to humbly ask her something that's been a long time overdue. Rigmor, it would be my greatest honor if you would become my wife.
Oh, the gods, Bobby.
Will you marry me?
Yes! Yes, of course!
Bravo, bravo. And might I say, very impressive. Oh, I think you do. Morag Setius sucker-punched by a master stroke of genius? Guardian and protector of Countess Rigmor of Bruma. Indeed, a title you should be very proud of. Meet me in the temple gardens tomorrow morning before the coronation. There are some things I would like to discuss.
Thank you, Guardian. If you have a moment.
А выбора-то нет. Договори уже.
I found out what's been going on. Last night I discovered a ventilation shaft behind the wall. The shafts are connected. Every room has them. And each one has an access panel behind the banners. When Father was asleep, I inched my way in and managed to maneuver myself within earshot of Coral's room. Ariэль Settius was there, discussing the fate of Bruma. For whatever reason, she wants to even the balance of power. My father commands the largest army in Sirodila, and has Anvil in his pocket. Anvil has access to Quintus Vitalis and his army. You know of him? Well, the plan was to set Rigmor up for a fall after she signed the decree. Mercenaries were to be paid to raid the counties of Coral and Shadenhall, and the blame was to be put on Bruma for not taking prompt and appropriate action to stop it. We're going to call a meeting at the seat of representatives in the Imperial Chamber, and call for a vote of no confidence in the House of Bruma, which would then be dissolved. Coral and Shadenhall were to march into Bruma County, take control, and divide it up between them. Shadenhall was to get the iron ore deposits and the mines. Coral was to get control of the city, and with it the title of Duke of the counties of Coral and Bruma. He would demand 1,000 men, and together they would reset the balance of power in Sirodila. Rigmor's family are considered commoners. With Morag's persuasion, the Emperor would turn a blind eye just to appease the nobility. Exactly. But I don't think the Emperor knows about the plot. Once the coronation is over, I intend to inform my father of Ariэль Setius and her possible motives. He'll know what to do.
Что ты мне скажешь об этой старухе?
She's always been there. Many years ago, we were based in the Colovian Highlands. My father was the local bandit chieftain, and Setius arrived with 200 men. They had parley, and we were to join them. Morag was already with Setius. He never went anywhere without her. Over the coming years, Setius banded together all the bandit chiefs in the border regions. They became unstoppable. Even before Titus Mede II mysteriously disappeared. On very rare occasions, Morag would disappear. No one knew where, but she always came back looking younger than she left. Something she has maintained to do to this day, leading to rumors. But Setius didn't want to usurp the Imperial throne. Neither did my father, but Morag Setius insisted. She has some sort of power over him, Guardian. You would think with what she has already, she'd be happy with that. But she seems to thrive on causing dissent, scheming, or sowing seeds of discord. Anyway, none of that matters now. Bruma will have the support of not only the House of Leowen, but Anvil, Skingrad, and Breville, plus Quintus' Western Army. So my work is done here, and I have you to thank for it. But I would love to be a fly on the wall later, if you catch my drift. But beware of Blackwell. He's taken a keen interest in you since you arrived.
Thank you very much.
Please, call me Bobby. I bid you good night. Take good care of Rigmor for me. After the coronation tomorrow, we can plan our wedding and set things in motion.
А где она? Ну ладно. А, ты где? Rigmor, собака. А пошли свалим.
Of course, Guardian. Thank you all for your support.
Ты в порядке?
I feel sick to my stomach, if you must know.
Ты не беременна?
What did Bobby want? But why?
Дуреху из себя вот строит, как будто не понимает.
Is that what all this is about? This is the reason why we're here? And not what we thought?
Ага, где вы?
Well, it seemed pretty real to me. The rags storming off, and I noticed Coral and Shadenhall left pretty quickly too. We're in the heart of the Imperial Palace, Dragonborn. These people don't do play acting to such a huge scale. There's gotta be something in what Bobby said. It's like they pick up on things, anything, and use it to mess with your head. What did he say? Unless he knows, right? He knows about me, and they were going to make a move after the signing. So maybe he's assumed you put Bobby up to the proposal. There's no love lost for the Lord Chancellor, Dragonborn. He might not even know about the plot between Morag, Coral, and Shadenhall. If what Bobby says is true, why would Morag want to balance the power? The only thing I can think of is that she might fear Leowyn. After all, he has the strongest force, right? What? I didn't do anything. Of course. He has the support of Anvil, Breville, Skingrad, and Quintus' army in the west. By the gods, Bobby doesn't want me. He wants Bruma. If I marry him, he becomes Count by default. What? Okay, so Morag stormed out, not because of any plot she had with Coral and Shadenhall was subverted, but because the balance of power has just become weighed in favor of the Count of Leowyn, and he wants the Imperial crown for himself? You know what? All this bullshit makes me want to go knocking on the Emperor's door and saying to him, "Hey, asshole, I've got a real royal bloodline that goes back to the first Mede dynasty, so go bite me."
Потерпи.
You know, it's like a kind of violence. What they say and do, how they can instill fear into someone with just words. Makes you feel sick to the stomach with fear and worry. Like rats caught in a trap. What about it? You're not seriously thinking about crawling around in that thing eavesdropping, are you?
Я полезу.
What about me?
А ты спи.
Dragonborn!
Я ненадолго.
Hey, I would love that. Oh, Har Har, you really are something. You know that?
Я знаю.
You're going to have to tread carefully. Who knows? With the Leowin boy marrying that common strumpet, the real nobility in this land could be squeezed out completely. I don't trust any of them. Least of all, Morag Setius.
We shall have to wait and see, my dear. After all, now that the Count of Anvil's daughter has agreed to marry our son, Leowin's influence will diminish and ours will grow. Also, with Anvil's family ties to Skingrad, the West will become much more secure. Quintus's army sits on the border of Hammerfell as we speak, and comes under Anvil's jurisdiction.
What of Cheydinhal in all this?
The Count of Cheydinhal doesn't like what's happening one little bit. He cannot imagine why Bruma would relent and sign the decree unless there's something more sinister going on. It's madness to sign. Bruma was perfectly within its right to remain a free city under international law.
Why would the Countess change her mind now? All she had to do is buff Setius off. I would have sent Blackwell packing with an arrow up his arse and reached out to us in Cheydinhal.
She could have reached out to all the provinces. Setius would not have dared touch her. It does make you wonder the reasons behind the Leowin boy's interest in her. To think we almost had it in the bag.
Well, my boy. I would have
А
never
заметил
thought
меня.
you would have made such a proposal in front of everyone.
Father, when are you going to come to terms with the fact that I love Rigmor? Why is it such an issue?
I had hoped you would marry into nobility. And I don't want to disrespect your Rigmor. She's a great girl. But she's hard work, Bobby. You even said it yourself. She has constant mood swings. She's argumentative. She has baggage. Look, she's not even a native of Sirodiil.
That's where you're wrong, and I won't hear of it. She was born in Sirodiil to respected parents.
You're just a young fool blinded by love. She's a Nordling, a barbarian. Just because a dog is born in a stable, it doesn't make it a horse. And your Rigmor is no thoroughbred. By marrying into imperial nobility, that would make something of you one day, my boy. It would command respect, give you an army to conquer new regions, territories, even provinces. Instead of counting icicles on that mountain with her guardian breathing down your neck. The county is worthless and full of Nords. Love doesn't create empires, boy. Those are made by blood and guts on your sword. Even though your intentions are sincere with Rigmor, and marrying this girl will indeed help our cause to strengthen our position here in the province slightly, you still have a lot to learn.
Lady Rigmor is going to be my wife, and I will hear no more of it.
Ah, Blackwell, enter.
My lord, you summoned me.
You had better have something good for you, Blackwell. Who is she? What is she doing here? More to the point, how did she manage to surface out of thin air and become such a problem?
Is my lady present? I'm sure she would like to hear.
She will be back shortly. She needed to visit her father. Please continue.
Little is known from the time she met the Countess. Apart from the New Order incursion into Skyrim, very little is noted or recorded in manuscript. What we do know is she was hired to protect her from the New Order, a breakaway sect native to Eleanor that tried to overthrow the Isle and invade Cyrodiil.
What did the New Order want with her?
The girl disappeared for years until she resurfaced at the Battle of Whiterun. She was linked to a Khajiit emissary who frequented the Imperial Court and had the ear of the Council of Elders. It was all kept very quiet, a matter for the Council and heads of state. I was not privy to these proceedings, and instead I was asked to take care of the affairs of the province, a job I continued to do after the disappearance of the Emperor until...
Please go on, Lord Chancellor.
After the New Order were crushed, the Thalmor made good their time in Cyrodiil, erasing all evidence. After the events, Titus Mede II bestowed upon the girl the noble title of Bruma County. As for her and her guardian, the two parted ways, and shortly after, the Emperor disappeared. That's all we know. After the Thalmor were expelled when the nobility signed the recent White Gold Agreement, my attempts to recover any information led nowhere. The trail went cold.
I don't like it, Blackwell. She was only meant to sign the document. Do you think she's complicit in a possible plot with Leowin?
The balance of power here in Cyrodiil is constantly changing. At first, it was prudent to have friends loyal to you, such as Leowin, to hold the upper hand among the counties. Your position relies on fealty, and although there is no evidence of subterfuge, there is a rivalry between them, and it has now become so very obvious. The announcement of the marriage between Bruma and Leowin has only added to the suspicions of their rivals.
I can understand that, but the Countess of Bruma... Why would an emperor bestow such a noble title on a wretched Nord girl? Why would he do that? What is so special about her?
I'll tell you why she is so special. So special to have at her side the most dangerous killer in all of Tamriell.
Я не только
Of
ассасин,
course, it is now also
я и воин.
obvious. It all fits in. The ripples in the fabric of the void. How she hid her truths. She has been hiding it for years, afraid for her very life. Cursed by her blood from the day she was born. A product of a liaison that produced a royal bastard. Her veins coursing with the royal blood of the dynasty we usurped. And her guardian, a half-beast dragon slayer, champion of Boethia and defeater of Algarin. She is a pretender by default. And I want her. And I want them both, Lord Chancellor.
We would need evidence before we could touch her. A confession, or someone to testify.
I'll make the girl confess, even if I have to do it myself. And as for her guardian... Aren't you meant to be protecting your beloved Rigmor, Dragonborn?
Сука. Где? А где?
Dragonborn. I'm kind of glad it ends this way.
Я тебя
I
спасу.
feel kind of relieved, in a way. Have Malisam take care of my things for me. And whatever happens at the trial, screw it up, okay? I might not get another chance to speak to you in person again, even during the trial. And I know we talked about all this before. If I don't make it, please don't blame yourself. I just want you to know that you're the best thing that ever happened in my life, and that I love you with all my heart.
Я тебя спасу.
Bye, Dragonborn.
Это что такое? Ты дерзкий такой.
You made a very serious misjudgment coming here. I know it's no consolation, but no one knew about her ties to the Mede dynasty. It was a complete surprise. Suffice to say, she kept her secret well. Please, sit. Actually, I came to ask the same thing. Why would the Countess come down from the mountain and pledge her support? She was protected under international law. However much the Emperor demanded it, she was well within her rights to ignore his
Так
demands.
видишь, вот и заставил. Косоглазый. Ну черт.
Unless... yes. She thought we knew, didn't she? Of course. And I bet you prepared for this very situation in advance. But pray tell me, what of the Leowin boy? Where does he fit into all of this? Was she involved in a plot? I must admit, though you had me fooled, I thought this was all about the struggle for power between the noble houses, and the joining of the houses of Bruma and Leowin was part of the plan. But it wasn't, was it? Sir Robert's proposal, for whatever reason, was seen as a way out. The Countess was prepared to make that sacrifice to live in peace. I can understand why she made that decision. With what she knew about herself, she must have felt very scared, even desperate. The trial will take place tomorrow. I've already sent word to her court advisor. He will arrive in the morning. They will need evidence to find a verdict, or they will have to let her go. She will be interrogated and offered a chance to confess in return for her freedom. But she will have to give up her titles and leave the province. I do hope she has some resolve, as confessing won't help her, not now. Whether she be acquitted, banished, or exiled, they will hunt her down. And they will be relentless.
Почему я должен это знать?
I have my reasons for telling you this. You see, I'm rather fond of the Countess. But my loyalty is to the seat of the Imperial throne, not who occupies it. You must know that I will pursue the bidding of the Emperor, no matter who, no matter my personal opinion or thoughts to the letter of the law, and execute any orders I see fit to protect and serve with absolute, unwavering ruthlessness. It isn't personal, but it's vitally important we understand each other.
Что надо?
Good. I'm glad you understand, because if you listened carefully, if you paid attention, what then, Dragonborn? I'm also here to escort you to the Imperial Chamber. Lady Setius requires an audience. You will be able to talk freely to her, with impunity. Please, come this way.
Валяй.
Ahem. Guardian and protector to the Countess of Bruma, my lady.
Leave us. Come forward, Guardian. Or should I say... Dragonborn.
Ну. Чё толкаешься?
Please do not tell me you're just like the rest of them, play acting the good, high and mighty champion of the poor, downtrodden. Good does not always mean right, but you of all people should know that, if you call yourself a person. What are you, a half-breed or half-beast?
Я тебя ебать не должна.
You're a product of your environment, nothing more, nothing less. You are what you are. A cold, instinctive killer who would take more notice of a pain in your little finger than the destruction of a whole entire nation. We are one and the same, you and I.
Я так не думаю.
Don't make me laugh. You are the epitome of hypocrisy. How many dragons have you slain to become what you are now? How many of their souls have you violated and sucked into your essence to attain your power? Far more than I. A soul is a soul, Dragon Slayer. It matters not from whom you take it, but the very act itself. How many men, women, and children have you slaughtered?
Я не убиваю.
Yet you are already judge, jury, and executioner because of some entitled moral high ground. You killed my children, Dragon Slayer.
Но это были не дети,
My
это были
breed.
вампиры.
Did they not have a right to live, to grow, and to multiply?
Да нет,
You
не
took it
имели.
upon yourself to execute them all, not content having saved your ward. And with true righteous bigotry, you delivered the sentence of death where you had no legal right, leaving them lying in their own bloody fucking mess!
Не ори на меня, паскуда. Я защищал Сарау.
I like you. It's such a pity we're on opposite sides. I would make you my emperor and discard that weak fool. He has already outlived his purpose, if you can call it that. Is the Black Widow wrong to devour its mate the instant it's copulated? It is within the nature of the beast. The endless cycle of life and death, played to a backdrop of a world that could care less. Surrounded by a cold
Хорошие
black
баги.
void that is eternally trying to strangle and crush the very life from a world it considers an intruder. A blemish to be expunged from its cold, eternal darkness.
Согласен.
I piss on treason. I could crush Blackwell's skull like a chicken's egg. Do you know who I am?
А ты паскуда.
Come now. I know all there is to know about you. It would only be fair to extend the same courtesy. Anything spoken between us will remain exactly that. Blackwell has no jurisdiction here. Let's be civilized. If entities like us can indeed be considered that, there's so much I would like to talk about.
Rigmor ты. Ничего не знаешь вот
Before I
обо мне.
married the Emperor, I was called Morag Bal.
Я знаю.
I am a daughter of Cold Harbor. But you
Я
know
знаю.
that. That's
Я
boring.
был там.
You want to know why I am here in this ancient seat of lost elven kings? I'm afraid there's no real reason. No divine subterfuge, and certainly no sacrifice to be made so a spurned monster can fulfill its dream to become a living god king. No, none of that. Sorry to disappoint. No, I exist only to play the game, to divide and conquer, to sow the seeds of discord. Setius is just one of many in a long line of pathetic hosts that has led me to this palace.
Не паразит, вот то хуже.
Very good. Oh, how we would make such a perfect couple, you and I. Just
Я
imagine
не
for
думаю.
one moment,
Ты могла быть
Dragonborn,
парой.
a daughter of Cold Harbor, Empress
Это
of all of
пошли
Tamriell,
вот от моего меча.
all alone, with the champion of Boethia by her side. We would fulfill the Elysian prophecy, and I would be the queen of a golden age, and you would be my king.
Меч
Father
не
would be
вредный.
very proud of me, and I would even give you the daughter of Azura to do with her as you will. I would even make her a duchess to preside over all the counties of Sirrodil if you wish it. Keep her, let her go, marry her off to Bobby. Or we could adopt her and she could be our princess. We would never age, we would never tire, and preside over Nirn for a millennia. I understand. I really do. Rigmor is your only concern at this moment. And I must commend both you and her betrothed who unwittingly placed her in a prison cell. With your ham-fisted attempt at courtly subterfuge, it was most laughable. Not forgetting the excellent job you did of guarding and protecting her from exposing her secret. Because I would never have guessed otherwise. But of course, Daddy did help me out a little bit, and is such a wealth of information at times like this. But I don't want to keep you from... Well, actually, I'm not keeping you from anything, am I? But you must be tired and could use some sleep if you want to be fresh for the trial tomorrow. I am sure you must be looking forward to that. Because I am so excited. Which reminds me, I promised Rigmor I would pop in for a friendly chat. I hope you don't mind. After all, she is the reason we are standing here at all.
Слышь.
Come again?
Допустим.
Reason for what? Guards! Guards! Escort the Guardian back to her room. The only way out is to play the game, Dragon Slayer. Get it right, and you both go home.
Guardian General.
We're sorry, sir, but you must return to your room.
This way, sir. I'm Anus, and this is Crispus. We were with you in Whiterun, Quintus Legion. Got sent home as I got myself wounded, General. Heavy fighting on the border. I took an arrow.
Took an arrow in his arse, more like.
Fuck off, Crispus. You're just jealous of my medal.
Stick it a year and they give you a bloody medal.
Crispus is a bit salty. We got Lambert with punishment detail.
We're meant to be on temporary leave from Hammerfell, rest and refit. But Aina's got us sent here for drunkenness.
We went down the market district after drinking some of that old special brew Tessio keeps under the table. Ended up in a fight with some Swedes, you know, civilians.
Luckily, we only got given menial tasks due to them bolstering the guard in the prison district.
They're shitting their pants. Someone's got them rattled.
Don't worry, sir. Anus and I consider ourselves veterans.
Yeah, we're the real Legion, not this jumped up new lot.
Here we are, sir. We bid you farewell.
Was an honour, General. What about Guardian fucking General?
Yeah, I wonder what she's doing.
Dunno. Saved my life on that mountain pass.
Remember that giant camp?
What giant camp?
Some of the boys came across a giant camp. They must have been taking a shit in a bush.
Fuck off, Chris.
Ну, это мы заканчиваем. Ставим лайки, дизлайки, подписываемся. До встречи.